Did you know that many students work while attending college? According to recent studies done by Fortune, 43% of full-time students work while attending college, and this number is around 81% for part-time students. Today I'm going to persuade you all that colleges should lower the requirement of 120 hours in order to graduate. First, experiences and internships are just as important. They go beyond what you learn in the classroom. Second, the mental health and well-being of college students is also important to consider. Too many hours can negatively impact the mental health of students. And third, graduation rates can increase. Not requiring so many hours can allow more of an opportunity to graduate. As you're all EKU students, you know firsthand how the requirement of 120 hours in order to graduate has impacted your daily life. Hello, my name is Jordan Pennington, and I'm a college student who has to try to balance my full-time job, my mental health, and try to stay on track to graduate, all while keeping up with the 120 required hours. With that introduction, let's move into my first point about why colleges should lower the 120-hour requirement. According to Shannon Templin, internships and work allow you to explore firsthand what career options are like. This goes beyond the classroom experience. Also, according to Shannon Templin, internships and jobs allows you and challenges you to dip your toes into all aspects of a profession, such as job-specific skills. For instance, you may learn the job-specific skill of conflict resolution in a customer service job. Furthermore, according to the Forbes expert panel, jobs and internships provide you with the opportunity to network with others. They provide you with keys to many doors that include relationships, experiences, and even more. For example, you may network with someone at work who may know someone else who can help you reach your full career goals. As has been shown here, work experiences and internships are just as vital as the hours you spend in the classroom. And with less hours, students can give more time and dedication to these internship and work experiences. If that alone was not enough to have you convinced that colleges should lower their hour requirement, hopefully this next point will. With how many hours in classes students have to take, their mental health and well-being is also very important to consider. Oftentimes, a student's mental health is negatively impacted the more hours that they have to take. According to reporter Luna Reed, students who undergo a full course load and try to balance all their other life activities are at risk for serious health issues. For instance, these students are at risk of stress, burnout, anxiety, depression, and more. Also, according to Anchor staff writer Isabella Santoro, a report from 2017 shows that nearly 3/4 of all college students suffer a mental health crisis during college. This can be the result from stress, overworking, or even anxiety about grades. For instance, a student may have a breakdown just from all the pressures of school. As has been shown here, mental health is negatively impacted the more hours a student has to take, and with less hours, students can see their mental health positively affected. Now, let's move into my third point that'll hopefully have you convinced if my other two do not already. With how many hours in classes students have to take, many do not make it to graduation. But with less hours required, graduation rates can increase. The current graduation rate is less than half. According to Jessica Bryant, only around 44% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree, but this can certainly be increased. According to two professors and a student at Brigham Young University, they stated that the lowest cost way to implement an increase is through the changing of the standards of the degree receipt. For instance, lowering the hours required would implement an increase in graduation rates. Lowering the required hours can make college look more attainable to students who thought it was impossible before. As of now, according to Mark Kantrowitz, less than half of students graduate on time, which actually ends up costing them more in the long run. For example, when a student looks at two colleges and one requires 120 hours and the other requires 100, they are more than likely going to think the one with less hours looks more attainable for them. As has been shown here, graduation rates can certainly increase with less hours because it makes it more attainable for all students. Now let's consider the other side. Many will argue that the hours spent in the classroom are vital to a student's education. This is very true, but there are also other important factors to consider that I have already discussed, such as their work and internship experience, their mental health, and if they are on track to graduate. Lowering the hours required can help students in all these areas while still obtaining a well-rounded education. Overall, decreasing the amount of 120 hours required to graduate is an important issue to be considered. I've covered quite a bit of material today, so I'd like to take the next few moments to summarize my main points. Colleges should not require so many hours because internships and work experiences are just as important. The mental health and well-being of students is also important to consider, and graduation rates can increase. Today, I've discussed why colleges should decrease the 120 required hours. My speech's purpose was to persuade you all to consider why colleges should lower their hour requirements. The next time that you are feeling overwhelmed at school, I challenge you to think critically about how you could benefit from less hours. And if you find that you could benefit greatly, then I encourage you to contact your head school officials and voice your thoughts and opinions to them. In closing, according to Jessica Pointer and others, graduation requirements should not be unrealistically high, because with such high hour requirements, it makes it difficult for students to graduate and balance all their other life activities. Thank you all.